Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another edition of Hidden Tracks. This week I have Ben from, Annabel, Parting, Curtail. So many bands, all three that I absolutely love. So welcome to the show, Ben. How you doing, brother?
Great. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So, I just rattled off three bands, all of which have had stuff come out in like the past 5 to 8 years. So first off, where do you find the time?
I've had a lot more time since I've started working from home, and really the pandemic was actually good in that way where I've had more time because I have just been in my basement most of the time. So that's really helped me devote as much time as I can to all three bands, and all three bands have been working on stuff in that time.
So okay. So for someone like you, that's a part of three bands like that, I know I said, where do you find the time, but how do you manage the time between and keep up, really?
Well, currently all three of those bands are sort of long distance because we have different members living in different places now. So really it's just about scheduling and making sure that, we have our time set for each band, and it really works out well that everyone's in a place in their lives where we can kind of arrange the time to work on things at certain times. And that's really how it goes. We have to be more disciplined in our time because we are, time is a struggle to find, but when we find it, we're definitely focused on what we're doing. So that's how it's working on with each band now. So when we set the time, we make sure we get things done. Whereas, many years ago when, we were all living in the same area, we didn't have to be as focused. We could just do whatever for a short amount of time. But now that we're distanced, we have to make sure we get stuff done. And we're all type of people that just want to get stuff done too. So we're all pretty goal oriented. So that helps too.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome considering the universe only gives you a certain allotted amount of time in your life to use it and schedule it. I think for a lot of people is one of the hardest things to try to do. Yeah,
for sure.
So let's harken back to a very influential time in your life. When you're little and you started to listen to music, do you have a first musical memory where something stood out to you as a small child, where it was just it kind of piqued your curiosity?
Yeah. I used to walk around my house with I had a boombox, and I would just listen to the radio. And I would just record songs on the radio and kind of make my own little playlist that way. And I'd be my own little DJ. I remember hearing, Nirvana on the radio or, things like that. And that kind of developed on that. I do remember the first time where I was just blown away by music. And that was when I saw, the band Bush on a late night TV show. I spent the night at my friend's house and I saw the band Bush play Machine Head. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to get into this whole alternative rock thing.
Hey, if a carpenter can make it, why can't I?
Yeah.
Well, those are the moments. And I always go back to that time in music too, especially that when alt rock really hit, alternative, I'm throwing the quotation marks up in the air. When alternative rock hit, I said it was, a lot of people started to say, oh, well, anyone can do it. It's, distortion pedals. And I said, no, but this is great because it gives people and shows that normal people can create music. Like, and that was, I think, a big thing back then, is that I think a lot of bands that you would grow up to listen to, if it wasn't for that portion of music, there probably never would have been, the music that we have today because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 10 when I heard that, so I didn't know it was good or cool. I just liked the songs and I liked the sound, so that kind of developed from there. And I remember that summer, I was glued to the radio. I just listened as much as I could to whatever was on the radio,
waiting for the next awesome thing to pique your interest.
Yeah, and I loved it all. Like, all of it was good. Everything that was on alt radio that year, I just ate up every minute of it.
Yeah, which now it falls under the category of classic rock, I guess.
Which, I don't know. I feel like there's, now classic rock is getting so wide. Like, what is classic rock?
Yeah. Just because it's older than 20, it's like an antique at 25 years, right? I mean, that's what it for a car, you get this statute of being able to put antique plates on your cars 25 years.
Yeah, so, we have 40, 50 years worth of classic rock now.
Yeah. So when you're growing up and you're listening to that, when did you start to find your own thing? What was your first discovery of something completely different that kind of, started to lead you down a hole of going to find your own sounds of music?
Yeah, I think when I heard, I was into the heavier stuff in middle school, but then I heard the band Far, which is Jonah from One Line Drawing.
Yeah.
I heard them at a show, like a high school show that I went to, and I was blown away. And that was probably my first introduction to sort of underground stuff. I know they were a sort of a major label band, but they weren't huge or anything. But that was kind of my gateway to the emo thing. I kind of went on message boards and were like, oh, you like Far, listen to Sunny Day Real Estate, or Hum, or Failure, or those kind of bands.
Yeah, and I mean, when it starts with a band like Far, I mean, that's the same thing too, where I follow an artist, kind of like with you. I mean, with three bands, but you look at Jonah, it's New End Original, Gratitude, One Line Drawing, his solo stuff, Far, and it's one of those things where I'm always amazed when there's an artist who does so many different things like yourself, that it's all good. And it's all it's really hard to understand how, I've seen, someone who's been in a band, a frontman of a band, and goes into another band, and that band totally sucks. And it's what happened? But, for someone like Jonah like that, I mean, that it's all good. What the fuck? Why are you allowed to do that? How is that possible?
Yeah, he was a huge inspiration for me, for sure. Just in all the things he did.
And going down that little rabbit hole of something, and you threw out that emo word, which is, it's not a bad word, people. You're allowed to say it. It's totally fine. I preferred post-hardcore when it was cool. So, and it's kind of the same thing, but not really. How would you categorize, the bands that you're in, the sounds that you make? I mean, what kind of genre would you throw it under if someone needed to figure it out?
I mean, when someone asks, I usually just say indie rock. And if they seem like they don't really know what that means, I'll say alternative. I usually won't say the emo word unless I know that they might get it.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it still has a bad connotation. But I feel like that connotation has definitely flipped in the last, 10 or so years.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it's all just fucking music, and
It's rock music, yeah.
yeah, however you just decide to describe it. I mean, when you go on Bandcamp, I mean, you just get lost in subgenres, and I'm just like, this sounded exactly like the last subgenre I clicked on, so I don't know what makes it a certain thing anymore, but I guess that's just getting older.
Yeah, people love to categorize it, but they can only compare it to what they know.
Yeah, it's true. If you haven't heard a sound before, you try to compare it to something that you already heard.
Yeah, people like to give like comparisons or like say some of my bands sound like a certain band. I obviously might disagree with that, but it's fine because that's what they know and they like the bands that they're comparing you to. So however they interpret it, that's totally fine.
Yeah. Do you get offended if somebody says a band that you absolutely loathe? They say
Not anymore. I think a long time ago when I was younger, I would, but now it's whatever.
as
It's
long as you're listening to it.
yeah, exactly. As long as you like it.
Now, when did you first want to start to play music? I mean, when you see Bush when you're young. I mean, were you already playing an instrument prior to that? Did you have the pivotal piano lessons like so many of us had, or when did that start?
I wasn't at that point. I think I took trumpet lessons like shortly after that. I didn't do that very long though. I took guitar lessons. I remember the moment I decided I want to play guitar. It was was playing air guitar to an REM song, and that's when I was like, I want to learn how to actually do this. Um, so that's when I took guitar lessons when I was like 11, and just I just learned everything I could. I had all the guitar tab books, all the guitar magazines, and I like learned every song that was in those guitar magazines.
Okay, so what was the REM song, and then what was the first song that you learned?
It was Bittersweet Me. And the first song I learned on guitar was probably Come As You Are.
Okay. Goes back to that nirvana of, someone can do it. Someone else can do it.
Right.
Now, when you started playing guitar, and what was your next step? Was that because I know as a kid, when you start learning something and it's music, you just want to go find other people that can do it with you. Was that a big thing, or did you stay to yourself, or did you rush out to find friends who are also playing music right away?
Yeah. So I wanted to play guitar just to be able to write songs, and I wanted to be in a band like right away. So I had some friends. My neighbor, he wanted to do a band too, and we started a band that we just played on like pots and pans and stuff. We were called the Knee Highs.
Nice.
And we made some music videos actually. They're pretty embarrassing, but they were fun. We didn't do that. That was just like a couple times, but shortly after that, I started a band like middle school, high school, and we were called Farsight. And we did that pretty much all through high school.
When was the first performance in front of strangers for that?
It was my freshman year. My high school did like an annual benefit show for Amnesty International, and I like made it my goal when I started high school to play that show. So we got to play that show, and it was January or February of 2001, and I was like 14, I think.
Do you remember the feeling of stepping on stage and then stepping off a stage?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous as hell. But I remember just like also being intoxicated by it. Like it was awesome. It's like all your friends watching you. And I remember, I think the power went out at one point.
Because you guys were rocking so fucking hard?
I guess, I don't know. Well, the power went out, and then, the drummer just did like a crazy drum solo. And we had like a drummer that was like, even at like 14, he was like professional level and just crazy. So people loved the drum solo, and everyone was like, man, the drummer is way better than you guys. So that was fun to deal with, but we got better for sure.
And I mean, that lasted all through high school. So, I mean, was that something that just kept you going? I mean, how did that progress to keep it from freshman year all the way through high school? Because I know it's hard to keep a friend for a week in high school,
It
let
was.
alone a band. Yeah.
It was definitely hard to keep that band together because our interests in music were definitely going in different directions through the course of high school, as I was getting into more like indie stuff and they were going the other direction and getting more into like the new metal side of stuff. So that was hard to manage for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was, if you're throwing errors out. I mean, if you were 2001 was your freshman year, then yeah, new metal was on its way.
Yep. We all started off like sort of in sync. But then yeah, we just went in totally different directions.
Now, when you're young, had you already been to a concert prior to you playing your first show in front of people?
I had been to a concert, yeah.
Do you remember what your first concert was that you ever went to?
It was my first concert I ever went to was Lilith Fair.
Wow. I went to Lilith Fair as well with my sister.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, Sarah McLachlan, Tracy Bonham,
Ani DeFranco.
yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
My aunt used to work at a very large amphitheater around here called Blossom Music Center, so she would get us free tickets to concerts. So we would just, whatever free tickets she got us, we would just go to a bunch of shows there.
That's awesome. Do you remember the first show you got to pick yourself that said, "Hey, I want to go to this show"?
Besides like local bands, it was probably Finger 11.
Wow. All right. Do you have a favorite show you've ever been to?
Favorite show? I saw Jens Lekman in Chicago for New Year's Eve one time. That was really fun. I saw Refused in New York City. That was incredible. And the first time I saw Radiohead, maybe.
Nice. Yeah, I was talking to my friend a while back and going back over concert tickets and stuff, and him being like, "Do you realize we saw Radiohead open for Belly at the Bowery Ballroom in New York City?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
Oh wow.
I was like, and the next time I saw Radiohead was like $400 a ticket, and I was like, "Geez, things have changed."
Yeah. That's crazy. So that must have been in like early or mid 90s.
Yeah, mid 90s. Yeah, I'm old. So, yeah, I was my ticket stub collection I think started in 91, 92.
Oh, very cool.
Now, if I mean, I know this is going to be hard to answer. So I'll go over, like, let's say for Annabel. I mean, give me a quick backstory about how that all came together. I mean, definitely after high school, since Farsight is over.
Yeah, Annabelle started pretty much right after Farsight was done. Me and my brother were both in bands that had recently broken up, and then everyone was just like, you know, you guys are going to be in a band together someday. And I was like, yeah, probably. So yeah, and we just decided it made sense to team up. So it was me and my brother, and we had a different line. We started a different lineup originally, and then we kind of became a 2-piece. Then we became a 3-piece, and then we had another guitar player. So it's been a long ride from Annabelle since we played our first show in like 2005.
That's crazy. Now, how do you get along with your brother? Because I mean, you're the older brother, right? So
yeah,
I mean, how does that work with a younger brother? I mean, I know it's hard for me to see because my brother's 10 years older than me. He's so much older than me that like it's really hard to see how something could come together, stay together, and perform together. How does that work? Because it didn't work for Noel and Liam. So
yeah, we're not Oasis. It works pretty well. Well, you know, once you realize that like it's easy because we have like pretty much the same taste in music, and we're really on the same page in terms of the things we like and things we want to do with music. So it's pretty easy. I mean, Andy's like one of the friendliest dudes you'll ever meet. Not to say that we haven't had our little squabbles, but
yeah, I would call bullshit if you said no. We've never had a fight in our, you know.
but no, I mean we still get along pretty well, and we work together very effortlessly musically.
Well, and that's awesome too, because you get to experience things, that other people will never understand, and you get to experience the highs together and the lows together. And I mean, that's awesome. Like that just, to me, thinking about something like that is just like, that's cool as shit. You get to go somewhere that you've never been before, perform, and he gets to be there right there with you.
Yeah, for sure. And like keeping this band together for so long, it's just like, it's really just like a reason to get together and still see him more, because he's in Chicago now. So really it's like a convenient way just to see family as well.
Now, if no one ever heard of your band Annabel, what song would you play for them that would best describe the band that you are?
I think I would play the song Everything off our last album, Having It All. The song's called Everything, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm not saying you should listen to Everything by Annabel.
The whole discography, everyone. You listen to every. Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good representation of what we do. Just kind of, the atmosphere plus melody combo that we try to get across.
Yeah, no, it's a great one. And for stuff like that, one of the reasons why I asked that question is because, back in the day, it used to just be like, I'd make you a CD, I'd copy a CD of the band that I'm listening to. Here you go. You got to listen to this whole thing too. And nowadays, people's attention span is, I'm just going to go listen to one song. And if they don't get into that one song, it's just over. And it breaks my heart when it comes to music, the way a lot of it is today. There's so much good about it and so much bad about it too, that people can't commit to a band. And I think it's so hard, and I feel bad for bands in that respect, because you're creating an entire album, you're putting it out there, and one song pops up on a playlist and they don't like that song, and then it's over because they're not committed anymore, because we're in the world of, just one song. It has to make it or break it for most people.
Yeah, you get, first impression. So you got to make it count, I guess.
Yeah, and a lot of times that first impression isn't even yours. You putting it out there. You know what I mean? Especially today with, all the playlists that are curated or, put together by an algorithm. I mean, that's where I feel, I look at things and I'm like, I feel fucking terrible for bands. Like, if I don't like that one song, maybe you're not going to go back and listen to it. That's why I like to ask the artist, what would you play for somebody?
Yeah, it's a tough thing to ask. I mean, because that's a lot of pressure too. Like, you get one shot at it.
Yeah.
I would hopefully leave that decision to other people to make.
No, I usually make that decision on my own too. I just like to see if it, coincides with what maybe I would play for somebody.
Sure.
Now, going from Annabel, I mean, to Curtail and Parting, I mean, how did Parting come about? I mean, how did you guys, all from other, pretty well-known bands such as Annabel, coming together to, form, as I like to call, because I love the music and I love the genre where everyone comes from, I call it's a super group for me.
Sure. I mean, me and Keith from Empire, we had talked about doing a project together for a long time. Originally, we were going to do a band called Prince Fielder.
Love it. Because I'm a Tigers fan, so
when Prince Fielder signed with the Tigers, Keith from Empire is a big Tigers fan, and he thought it'd be funny to say we signed Prince Fielder. But that didn't end up happening. So, but we are actually on tour with Curtail when we stopped and we stayed the night at Keith's house, and that's when we first started talking about actually doing something for real. So that right after that trip out there, he just sent some demos that he'd been working on, and we got the rest of the band together. And at first it was just going to be like an internet band where we sent files back and forth, but the guy that was originally going to play drums, who was when it was in Atlanta, he fell through. And then we got another Midwest guy, another Michigan guy to play drums. So then we were like, oh, we can actually make this a real band and get together and do stuff. So we just got together a couple times and wrote all the songs on that EP. And we did that again a couple months ago, and we got a new batch of songs we're working on. So yeah, we just get together when we can.
Awesome. See, I love hearing that there's new stuff coming everywhere. Like when I saw that Parting album from Cal, I was like, oh my God, this is like some of my favorite bands getting together. And I ordered the 10-inch right away. And I think I got so excited. I think I ordered 2.
Oh, wow.
Cause I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then one showed up one day and one showed up another day. And I was like, I guess I ordered 2. I get excited cause I also need to have things in my hand to listen to music. Like
hopefully they were different variants.
I didn't open one of them. So
okay.
Yeah, I didn't open one of them. So I don't know, but I mean, I was very lucky. Rob from Friend Club was very nice. Sent me a test pressing a Curtail album that just came out. And I was just, first thing I did was open it, put it on. I was just like, physical in my hand.
It's a good feeling. That magical feeling.
Yeah. I mean, it's just when you have music, you like it and you get to put it on and listen to it over and over again. It's just awesome. It got me through finishing up all my work last night. So
very cool.
And so, I mean, that was Parting, and you're also in Curtail. I mean, for the love of God, man. How did that all come about and hooking up with Jesse? And
yeah, I mean, that was, I've known Jesse for a long time, been friends with him for a long time. And he was another band called Cherry Cola Champions, and they were kind of fizzling out a little bit. And Jesse had these other songs he was writing. And he just talked about getting another band together, and he wanted to play with me. And I was actually originally the drummer in that band. And then we played a couple shows. But then I went on tour, and they had Eric, who used to be in Ground as Lava. He filled in on drums. And eventually I sort of moved over to guitar, and Eric took over drums full time because he's a lot better than me at drums. So we, I mean, that was a fun period when we were starting that band. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun being in Curtail.
Wow. I mean, good on you, man, for just, I mean, the music you're creating and the bands you're a part of and the people you get to be around and perform with and write your own stuff and have your own band. I mean, I want to commend you for the effort that you put into all that, because it's not easy, man. And to hear what you create just shows the love that you have for what you're doing. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I would say that being in 3 bands is definitely better for my mental health. So you don't have to like be all in on one or anything like that. Like, if I feel like I give equal weight to all my bands, because they all provide me with something different creatively. And it's nice to just know that, if a band is, doing more than the other, it all kind of compensates with each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, again, it's amazing to watch. And then it's also amazing to listen to and hear the different aspects and knowing what people bring to to bands is just, to me, it's awesome. So again, thank you for you providing me with hours and hours of great listening pleasure and also inspiration for what you're doing. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
now, when it comes to you personally, there's a day in your life that's really important to a teenager. It's the day you get your driver's license. You got your driver's license. You're going to pick up your best friend or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever it may be. What was blasting on the radio?
Well, I remember what CDs I had when I was learning to drive. I remember that summer I had got the Rainer Maria CD and the New End Original CD and the Refused CD. So one of those.
Those are three good ones to rock out to. I think mine might have been that fucking Bush fucking tape in my car. I'm trying to remember. It's either that or Face to Face, probably. So it was most likely Face to Face, because that's pretty much what Face to Face and the Posies were the two bands that I just blasted throughout high school. So
some good old punk rock.
Yeah. You remember the last song you cried to?
I cry to every song. Let me think here. Man, the song, it's a Porter Robinson song called Get Your Wish. That song hits me in a certain way.
All right. I love how you had it and you didn't shy away from it.
There's nothing to shy away from. I mean, I feel music, man.
Well, that's what it does. I mean, just getting goosebumps like for a song is one of my. It's just amazing, that feeling, because it's music and it's not. It's something that also, it's not yours, but you've grown that attachment to it, and now it belongs to you and it is yours. But when you hear it, doesn't matter how many times you get those goosebumps again. It's just one of those awesome feelings, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could have this like all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you listen to music. Actually, I'll bring up another song, the song "Guys" by 1975, because it's all about being in a band and touring around with your friends.
Do you have a tour memory of like an album that you just rocked? Like it's this thing that like I put in my head. You have a music video, but you're on tour. You're driving through Europe in a van. The windows are down. The wind is coming in, and you're all singing something, and just have an album that just reminds you of a specific tour.
Man, yeah, there's a lot. Let me try to think of some of those. I think Fugazi, The Argument was one record we listened to the most back in old Annabel tours. Man, what are some other ones? I'm trying to think. I mean,
it's all right if you don't know.
Definitely Blue Album. Yeah, I don't know.
But you're allowed to not know if there were so many good memories.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say Blue Album for sure.
All right. If you had theme music to your life, like every time you opened your door and stepped out in public and like a song played, do you have a song that you would wish was like your theme music? Almost like you have your own TV show and it's your theme song.
Oh man. Theme, like, it's hard to pick like a rock song for that kind of thing. I feel like it'd be like a John Bryan score or something.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything screaming or somebody had I forget what they said, but it was like some crazy rap song, and I was like, well, that's a little tough every single day that you open that door and step out in public to hear every day. Something more calming, I guess.
Yeah. Are you talking about like just like a song that like embodies who you are, or like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Let me
Yeah. That, you would open that door and people would know it's you because of that song every time they hear it.
Let's go Tonight by Smashing Pumpkins.
Nice. I'll give you that. Good one. Do you have a band in your life that never lets you down? Some people, I always say that people will ask the question of favorite band, but I like to go with like, is there a band that you can always turn to, put them on, and anytime they come out with something new, or maybe they haven't come out with something new in 30 years, but a band you just can always turn to and always count on them for any mood you're in?
I feel like that band would be Broken Social Scene for me.
Wow.
They never disappoint me, and they had a little gap from their albums, and they came back, and it felt like they never left.
Are you all over the map when it comes to like what you're listening to? I mean, because I know I am, but I know other people are like, I basically I listen to this stuff like all day long and just stick with it. Or you just, I mean, listening to you talk sounds like you like everything that you can find.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very, I guess, diverse taste in music. I guess I like to listen to as much as I can. I like to listen to a lot of different stuff, for sure. So I feel like there's some commonality in all the things I like, but definitely in terms of sound, it's kind of all over the place.
Now, how do you find your music nowadays? I mean, with all the ways to get it, what is your main go-to when it comes to, I guess, music listening? Because you can't always be in your house with a record player or CD player or tape player.
I mean, I guess nowadays, I'm on Twitter all day, so people want to talk about music, I'll check it out. I'll check out whatever, um, the whatever kind of blog is showing bands, or even still, I still go to Pitchfork and try to find new music, even though I have opinions about Pitchfork for sure, but they still provide me with a way to find new music, so I'll give them that.
Yeah, I'm still usually like a month behind because I still, for some reason, like to get like a magazine at a Barnes and Noble, like, and look up like new music. And it's just, I don't know what it is. I like to be listening to music while sitting down reading a magazine about finding new music. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely did that back in the day, but I don't pick up the latest, music magazines anymore.
And then now it's all online anyway. And I mean, you're on Twitter, and we have a shit Twitter game here at Hidden Tracks. So I mean, it's so hard to keep up with fucking everything nowadays. And it just, that's another thing that makes me feel bad for bands sometimes, is because you have to be on everything, which is a full-time job if you're not the biggest band in the world.
Yeah. It's a social media hustle,
Yeah, if you can do it, all praise to you.
For sure.
Now, when you're happy, do you listen to happy music, or when you're sad, do you listen to sad music? What do you have any like focal things for feelings? Sometimes when it comes to sad music, when I'm sad, I want to hear some more sad stuff because I want to cry harder and get it all out. Or sometimes I just want to listen to angry music. Do you have like mood music that you turn to for different moods in your day?
Yeah, for sure. I have different like moods of music based on like the time of day and like the weather and stuff like that too. So definitely I'm picky about what I listen to at certain times or in certain moods.
All right. So I want to preface this question by saying it takes nothing away from anyone else you've ever performed with. But have you ever been on a bill with another band that you've stood back and watched them in awe of just being like how amazing that was at that time? Is there a band that sticks out to you that you stood back and was just like, I don't know what the fuck that was, but that was the coolest thing I've ever seen?
Yeah, Des Arc. Des Arc was an amazing band. They blew me away. We played with them. We drove out to New York just to do a one-off show, and because we were able to play with them, and like they just blew me away.
When was that?
That was 2007, I think. And then yeah.
That's I mean, that's pretty early on in your career for
it
to
was
be
like
able to.
it was like the first it was this second time we ever played out of state.
Wow. And to New York you
Yeah,
you
and
were.
we got a parking ticket that was like $100, but it was totally worth it.
I mean, and back then the $100 was literally what you needed to get home for gas.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we got in gas, and it went straight to the parking ticket.
Where was that show? Do you remember in New York where it was?
Knitting Factory.
Oh, nice. Great venue.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Now, is there a time in your life, is there a venue that you played that's your favorite venue that you've played in so far, or that one that you just always have a memory of going back and wanting to go back there?
Man, I mean, we've played some really cool places. I think the one place we played that really sticks out, it was like an abandoned train station in Oslo, Norway. And it's in the middle of nowhere, but we had like a bus full of people filled and came out. And there was like a train station master who was like the MC for the show. It was just like otherworldly.
That's fucking awesome. So it was an actual venue out of an abandoned train station that they kind of turned it into?
Yeah, it was an abandoned train station, and they made one of the rooms into like a DIY venue.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What was the best country you've been to play in? Was that it?
Yeah, Norway was incredible. Yeah, I mean, Japan though. We played Japan, and that was an incredible experience as well.
And I mean, what's that like? Because I mean, you're going to Japan, you're touring, and people are showing up to the show, so they apparently know who you are. They don't even speak the language. I mean, how does that? I mean, what kind of feeling do you get off of something like that? That to see how it translates, as music is a universal language. That's what I always. That's my tagline. It's a universal language around the world, because you could not know the language, but you scream the lyrics at the top of your lungs. What was that like for you?
It was crazy. It was crazy. They love their music over there. They love their American bands, so they kind of treat you like you're rock stars and stuff. Like you do an encore. They know you can't speak to them,
yeah,
but they know the words. So it's like, how do you know these songs? But yeah, it's crazy. It was a very crazy experience to be able to go over there.
How old were you when you first went overseas to perform?
Well, not counting, I did a choir trip when I was in right after high school. I did an overseas Europe trip with my choir. But yeah, the first Annabel tour overseas was 2013 when we went to Europe.
Okay. Your favorite city in the US to perform?
Well, I mean, Chicago is kind of like the second home. That's where all the homies are. So it's always good to play there. But other than that, I mean, and then, Gainesville for Fest every year is fun too. So those are kind of like the homes away from home in terms of playing. I'd love to get back to Seattle though, because I loved it when we played it in Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful area too. Like especially when you step out of the city in Washington. I mean, it's that area is just amazing.
Yeah, I've never had a strong desire to leave Ohio, but I've often said if I did, it would probably be somewhere like Seattle.
All right. So you got 5 minutes left to live. Meteor's going to crash into the earth in any second. And you have to listen to one song. What song would you pick?
I might say Motion Picture Soundtrack by Radiohead. I think that would be a good way to go out.
That's a good pick. It might be one of the better ones we've had throughout the show. That's a very good pick.
Because the last line's like, I'll see you in the next life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that'd be a fine way to go out.
All right. Do you have something that someone would be extremely surprised that you get a lot of enjoyment out of listening to? Like someone listening to the show who listens to your music would be really surprised that you get a lot of enjoyment out of listening to this band or this artist.
Well, I don't know if it's someone that doesn't know me personally. I'm a insane Charlie XCX fan, so I love everything she's ever done.
All right, that's good. See, yeah, I'm trying to get rid of that the guilty pleasure term that was thrown out early in the show's beginning, because now they're just pleasures, but other people may think it's weird. That's the way I look at it. I always say, no matter how much you own it, someone at some point could walk in on you listening to something, and for that 1 millisecond, you're a little nervous that they heard you listening to it. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know what's considered cool or whatever anymore. But I'm not ashamed to admit I like a lot of pop music.
Yeah, I guess it's that cool game, because I guess I still think like a 22-year-old or 24-year-old going to a punk show or a hardcore show or an emo show and just thinking that someone's judging me for what I listen to on the way there.
It is weird how we're conditioned like that, because I'm aware of it as well, but it doesn't stop me anymore.
No. So, what was the last show that you got to attend? The last concert you got to attend that you weren't a part of?
Man, the last show I saw Phoebe Bridgers. Was that the last show? Let me look at my calendar.
So I call the former indie darling. People are like, "Oh, the indie darling." She's no longer indie when she's on the cover of everything. So we can now say that she is a pop star, and that's fine because she's fucking killer.
Yeah. I think that was the last show I went to that I didn't play. It's been the only shows I've really gone to since the pandemic have been ones I've played, except for Phoebe Bridgers.
All right. So that was the last one. Do you have any band that is getting back together that you're excited to see? Or do you have a show coming up that you're excited to see, or a band coming?
Just bought Sunny Day Real Estate tickets today.
So did I.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. There's a lot of shows I saw coming up recently that
my two for this year that I'm most excited are Sunny Day and Elliot. So.
Oh yeah. It's a good one too.
Well, I don't want to keep you here forever. This has been a lot of fun. I'd like to ask what's coming in the future, but you got 3 things going on. So, and you already said you're working on new music for everything. So I usually ask, what are you most excited for coming up that you're working on?
Yeah, Parting has some new songs we're working on. Annabel has sort of a concrete recording date, so that's going to be happening at some point this summer. So we've got the studio time sort of booked, so we're going to be working on that record this summer.
Awesome. Well, I usually give people an opportunity to tell people how to find everything they're doing. You can take that opportunity and do it, or we can do it for you because you got a lot going on. But if you'd like to tell people how to find Annabel stuff and parting stuff, and go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can just tell. I don't.
Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, we'll just throw it all in the Instagram, since we're not Twitter people. We do have a Twitter page, but we're not very active on it. So
the usual Facebooks and Twitters and Instagram. I can't remember what all our handles are. Annabel, Ohio, Curtail Music, Parting Band.
We'll take care of it. Yeah. So, this is our segment of it's. We move into our last segment. It's our weekly threes. So I'll give you time to look up 3 things that you're listening to right now that you would like people to check out, and listen to, that you are getting lots of enjoyment out of.
Right now, or what? Did I just do that? Sorry.
That's all right. Well, that's one.
that was The Cure, I think. I'll say the new Signals Midwest record is very good. I think it's their best record.
It is very good.
I
feel bad for what just happened to them on tour. So
yeah, that's the thing that you gotta keep in mind when you're on tour. I guess is it's inevitable that you're gonna end in someone getting COVID.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy too that the way it's happening, and now who did I just see that they made everybody wear a mask to come in. And I mean, in New Jersey right now, it's been like whatever, no one's had to do it for a while, but they made everyone do it, made sure everybody had their shots, and literally a week later 2 of the band members get it and it's shut down anyway. So it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're booking a Curtail tour right now, and it's like, shouldn't even book the last couple of days anyway, because we're just going to get COVID.
Yeah. I know Jesse sent me the dates and I was like, all right, put me in for that show and that show. I'll be there. And hopefully they go through and you can do them.
Okay. To finish your question.
Yeah.
The Delete Zeke record that came out at the end of last year. Phenomenal. Extremely my shit. And I'm getting into the new Kendrick Lamar that just came out like a week ago. So,
all right, cool.
Listen to that.
Awesome. You are all over the place. That's great. All right, my 3 for this week. My first one is a band called Record Setter. They're, if I guess I would say, metalcore. Since I got to throw something out there for somebody. The album is I Owe You Nothing. Next band is Stand Still, the post-hardcore, because I like that term, post-hardcore band out of Long Island. The name of the album is A Practice in Patience. It's a nice EP to listen to. And last but not least, Pink Shift is a band, a pop punk band out of Maryland, and they have a nice EP out as well. So those are my 3 for this week, folks.
I'll check those out.
But Ben, this has been awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to come out here with your busy schedule with 3 bands and an actual life to live. So appreciate you taking this time. That's why I don't want to keep you that long here. But thank you for all you do. Thank you for the hours of enjoyment you provide to me and many other people with what you do in creating music and putting your soul out there for people to listen to. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a pleasure.
So everybody else, you know what time it is. It's time to go out and listen to Annabel, Parting, and Curtail, and have a great fucking time. Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.